My stepdad took my inheritance loan for his truck upgrade, said family doesn't keep score, then dropped $27,500 in 45 days on mods and gambling. Now my mom found his secret account and left him. I'm freezing the account and forcing a court-ordered repayment plan. I'm 24. That money was from my dad's life insurance. My real dad died when I was 19, and he left me $85,000 split between savings and a small policy. I've been careful with it, using it for college and keeping the rest as an emergency fund. My stepdad knew this. My mom married him 3 years ago, and he's always been weird about money, but I never thought he'd actually steal from me. 2 months ago he came to me crying. Literally crying. Said his truck transmission was shot and he needed $27,500 to fix it or he'd lose his job because he drives for work. He showed me the quote from the mechanic and everything. My mom was standing right there looking worried, and I felt like such an asshole even hesitating. So I transferred the money. That was October 18th. I have the Venmo record. 6 weeks later I'm at their house for Thanksgiving and his truck is parked in the driveway with brand new LED light bars, custom exhaust, and these ridiculous 24-inch chrome wheels. I asked him about it and he got defensive immediately. Started going, oh, well, the mechanic gave me a deal so I had some left over and I deserve to treat myself after all that stress. I asked how much was left over. He wouldn't answer. I asked when I could expect the repayment to start since we'd agreed on $1,000 a month starting in January. He laughed. Actually laughed and said, we're family now, you don't charge family interest. Besides, your mom and I have been helping you out plenty. I said, what the hell are you talking about? I pay rent when I stay here, I buy my own groceries, you haven't helped me with anything. My mom jumped in with he means emotionally. He's been a father figure to you. I lost it. Told them I wanted a payment plan in writing by Monday or I'd take him to small claims court. My stepdad got in my face and said good luck proving anything. It was a gift. Family helps family, and family doesn't keep score like some selfish brat. I left. Spent the weekend furious, pulling bank records, screenshots, everything. Then Monday my mom called me sobbing. Turns out she'd been going through their bank statements because something felt off, and she found a secondary checking account my stepdad opened in September that she didn't know about. He deposited my entire $27,500 into it. The statements showed $8,400 at a casino in one weekend in early November. Another $6,200 on car mods at 3 different shops. $4,800 on what looked like online sports betting based on the transaction descriptions. Multiple ATM withdrawals. By the time my mom found it, there was $3,100 left. She confronted him. He told her I'd given him the money as a thank you for accepting me into the family and that she was being paranoid. When she showed him my text messages asking about repayment, he said I was trying to start drama and making things up for attention. My mom packed a bag right there and came to my apartment. She's been here 5 days now. She's filed for separation and moved half their joint savings into her own account before he could touch it. Yesterday I went to a lawyer. Turns out I have an airtight case because I have the Venmo transfer with loan, truck repairs, repayment starting January 2025 inches in the notes, plus text messages where he acknowledged it was a loan before he got the money. My lawyer sent him a formal demand letter yesterday giving him 10 days to return the full amount or we're filing a lawsuit and requesting the court freeze his accounts pending judgment. My stepdad showed up at my apartment last night screaming through the door. Calling me a backstabbing snake and saying I'm destroying his marriage and tearing this family apart over money. He threatened to countersue me for emotional damages and said my real dad would be ashamed of me for treating family like this. I didn't open the door. I called the non-emergency police line and they came and made him leave. I'm also filing for a restraining order tomorrow. My mom is backing me completely, but some of her family is saying I should just let it go because it's creating drama and he made a mistake. My aunt called me yesterday saying I'm being cruel for going after him legally when he's already lost his wife and clearly has a gambling problem he needs help for, not punishment. But this wasn't a mistake. He lied to my face, spent my dead father's money on truck accessories and casinos, then tried to manipulate me into thinking I was wrong for wanting it back. And when that didn't work, he showed up at my door threatening me. The court date is set for January 12th. My lawyer says we'll win easily and the judge will probably order wage garnishment since he clearly can't be trusted to pay voluntarily. My mom is considering adding financial fraud to her divorce filing. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I a butthole? The lawyer's demand letter hit my stepdad's mailbox on December 4th and he showed up at my job the next morning. I work reception at a dental office. He walked in at 9:47 a.m. while I had a patient checking in and started yelling that I was ruining his life over a misunderstanding between family. The patient looked terrified. My boss came out of her office and told him to leave or she'd call the police. He called me a vindictive bitch in front of everyone and stormed out. I spent my lunch break crying in my car. My boss pulled me aside after and said she understood but couldn't have that kind of disruption again. She didn't fire me but the message was clear. I texted my mom about it and she was furious. She'd been staying with me since she left him but that night she went back to their house while he was at work and packed up everything that mattered to her. Clothes, photos, her grandmother's jewelry, all of it. She was done playing nice. The freezing of his accounts happened on December 9th. My lawyer filed an emergency motion claiming he was dissipating assets and the judge granted a temporary freeze on his personal checking account pending our court date. The one with $3,100 left in it. My stepdad found out when his card got declined buying groceries. He called my mom 47 times that day. 47. I know because she showed me her call log. She didn't answer once. He left voicemails ranging from sobbing apologies to screaming threats. In one he said, "You're really going to let your daughter destroy me like this? After everything I've done for this family?" In another he said, "I'll make sure everyone knows what a greedy little snake she is." My mom saved every single voicemail and forwarded them to my lawyer. On December 12th my stepdad's brother called me. I'd met him twice, maybe. He said my stepdad was going through a rough patch and had admitted he had a gambling problem. Said he'd already missed 2 days of work because of the stress and might lose his job. He asked if there was any way we could work this out without court because destroying him financially won't get your money back any faster. I told him my stepdad had $27,500 of my money 7 weeks ago and pissed it away on chrome wheels and blackjack tables. I told him about the secret bank account, the lies, showing up at my workplace. I asked him if he'd be this understanding if someone stole almost 30 grand from his kid. He got quiet. Then he said, "I didn't know all that." He told me you'd offered to help and then changed your mind. That's when I realized my stepdad had been lying to his entire family about what happened. Playing the victim. I asked his brother to tell me exactly what story he'd been told. Apparently I was the spoiled stepdaughter who'd loaned him money and then demanded it back with interest when he hit hard times. No mention of the gambling. No mention of the secret account or the truck mods. Just me being cruel to my struggling stepfather. I sent his brother screenshots of everything. The Venmo transfer with loan in the description. The texts about repayment plans. Bank statements my mom had showing the casino transactions. He stopped responding after that. My mom filed for divorce on December 13th. Not separation anymore, actual divorce. Her lawyer included the financial fraud as part of the filing since my stepdad had been hiding accounts and making major purchases without her knowledge during their marriage. Turns out that $8,400 casino weekend happened during a trip he told her was a work conference. She cried when she signed the papers, but she said it felt like relief. My stepdad tried a different approach after that. He started posting on Facebook. Vague stuff at first about family betrayal and people showing their true colors when money is involved. Then it got more specific. He posted about how hard it is being a stepparent when your stepchild turns on you the second you need help. How he'd opened his home and heart to me after my father died and this was how I repaid him. 3 of my mom's friends messaged her asking what was going on. She responded to each one privately with the full story and screenshots. By December 16th his posts had stopped and he blocked both of us. Yesterday my aunt, the one who'd called me cruel before, sent me a long apology text. Turns out my mom had finally told her side of the family everything. My aunt said she'd had no idea about the gambling or the lies and that she completely supported us now. She said my stepdad's own mother had apparently been trying to get him into Gamblers Anonymous for years and he'd always refused. The restraining order hearing is tomorrow. My lawyer thinks we'll get it based on him showing up at my work and the threatening voicemails. The main court date for the money is still January 12th. My mom asked me last night if I ever felt guilty about any of this. I told her honestly that I felt guilty she was losing her marriage. She said, "I'm not losing anything worth keeping. He stole from you and lied to both of us. That's on him, not you." But I keep thinking about what his brother said. About him losing his job and spiraling. Part of me wonders if pushing this legally is just making everything worse. If I should have just accepted the loss and moved on. Then I remember him laughing in my face at Thanksgiving. Telling me family doesn't keep score while he had $27,500 of my dead father's money in a secret account. Spending it on rims and roulette. I'm not backing down. But I'm wondering if I'm the asshole for taking this as far as I have. The restraining order got approved on December 20th and my stepdad violated it 36 hours later. I was leaving Target around 8 p.m. when he pulled up next to my car in the parking lot. He rolled down his window and started yelling about how I'd ruined Christmas, ruined his life, turned my mom against him. I got in my car and locked the doors immediately. He got out of his truck and stood next to my driver's side window screaming that I was a spoiled brat who never appreciated anything he did for our family. I called 911 while he was mid-sentence. Told them someone was violating a restraining order and I felt unsafe. The dispatcher stayed on the line with me and I could hear her radioing officers. My stepdad must have realized what I was doing because he suddenly went quiet, stared at me through the window, then got back in his truck and peeled out of the parking lot. 2 police cars showed up 4 minutes later. I gave them his license plate number and the restraining order case number. They found him at a bar 6 blocks away. He was arrested that night for violating the order. My mom called me at 11 p.m. after his mother contacted her asking her to drop the charges. My mom told her absolutely not. He spent the night in jail and had a hearing the next morning. The judge extended the restraining order to 500 feet and added a provision that he couldn't contact me through third parties. He also got 30 days in county jail, suspended pending good behavior, which means if he violates again he serves the time automatically. My mom's divorce lawyer used the arrest in her filings. Submitted the police report as evidence of his erratic behavior and argued it proved he was mentally unstable around finances and conflict. Her lawyer is pushing for her to get the house in the divorce settlement since my stepdad has proven he can't be trusted with shared assets. Christmas was 3 days ago and it was the most depressing one I've had since my dad died. My mom tried to make it nice. She bought a small tree for my apartment and we cooked dinner together. But the whole time I kept thinking about how this time last year we'd all been together and everything seemed fine. My stepdad had gotten me a Target gift card and a card that said, "So glad you're part of our family." I threw it away yesterday while cleaning out a drawer. The main court date is in 3 weeks. My lawyer called on December 23rd with an update. Apparently my stepdad's lawyer reached out asking if we'd be willing to settle. They offered $12,000 paid over 18 months. Less than half of what he owes, stretched out over a year and a half, with no guarantee he'd actually make the payments. I told my lawyer no. We're going to court. She warned me that even if we win, collecting could be difficult if he doesn't have assets. I told her to push for wage garnishment in the judgment. She said we could also put a lien on his truck since he clearly values it so much. The custom wheels and LED light bars he bought with my money could end up getting repossessed to pay me back. The irony isn't lost on me. My mom told me yesterday that my stepdad's mother called her again. Not asking her to drop charges this time, but asking if there was any way to work this out as a family before the court date. Said her son had a problem and needed help, not legal consequences. My mom asked her where this concern was when he was spending $8,400 at a casino in one weekend. His mother got quiet and then said she didn't know it was that bad. My mom told her it was worse than that. Told her about the secret account, the lies, him showing up at my work, everything. His mother started crying and said she tried to get him into GA meetings years ago but he'd refused. My mom said that wasn't her problem to fix anymore and hung up. I asked my mom if she ever regretted marrying him. She said no, because she genuinely thought he was a good person back then. But she regrets not seeing the signs earlier. Apparently he'd always been weird about money, always had to have the nicest truck or the best tools even when they were tight on cash. She'd thought it was just pride. Turns out it was compulsion. My boss pulled me aside at work 2 days ago and asked if everything was okay. I guess I've seemed off lately. I told her the basics, left out most of the details. She was sympathetic but I could tell she was worried about more drama at the office. I promised her it wouldn't happen again. I didn't tell her about the restraining order violation because I didn't want her thinking the situation was getting worse instead of better. But it is getting worse. My stepdad's brother, the one I'd sent screenshots to, messaged me on Facebook yesterday. He said their whole family was falling apart over this. That their mother was devastated and 2 of his siblings weren't speaking to each other because half think I'm justified and half think I should show mercy. He said I had every right to be angry but asked if I'd considered what winning in court would actually accomplish besides making his brother homeless and jobless. I haven't responded. Because the honest answer is that I don't know what it'll accomplish besides getting my money back. Or trying to. And maybe that makes me the asshole. Maybe I should care more that his family is imploding or that he might lose everything. But every time I start feeling guilty I remember Thanksgiving. Him laughing at me. Telling me family doesn't keep score while he had my entire inheritance in a secret account. My mom found out yesterday that he's been staying with his mother since the arrest. Sleeping on her couch. His mother is 71 and lives on Social Security. My mom felt bad about that for about 30 seconds, then reminded herself that he made his choices. The worst part is people at my mom's work are starting to find out. One of her coworkers saw the divorce filing, it's public record in our county. Now people are asking her questions and she has to decide how much to explain. She told me last night she's thinking about looking for a new job after everything settles. Starting fresh somewhere people don't know about any of this. I keep going back and forth between feeling completely justified and feeling like a vindictive monster. My stepdad stole from me, lied to my face, and then tried to manipulate me into letting it go. But I'm the one who got him arrested 2 days before Christmas. I'm the one pushing for wage garnishment that might actually make him lose his job for real this time. 3 weeks until court. Part of me wishes I'd never loaned him the money in the first place. My stepdad's lawyer sent over a formal counterclaim on January 3 saying I owe him $31,000 for room and board he provided me over the past 3 years. The document listed charges for every time I stayed overnight at their house. Holiday dinners. Family barbecues. Weekend visits. He'd calculated it at $175 per night plus $40 per meal. According to his math I'd racked up thousands of dollars in debt just by existing in their lives. My lawyer called it desperate and frivolous but said we'd have to respond to it formally, which meant more legal fees. I showed my mom the counterclaim and she just stared at it for a long time without saying anything. Then she said he invited you to every single one of those dinners. He insisted you come for holidays. Her hands were shaking when she handed the papers back to me. My lawyer filed a response on January 6 that basically said the claim was absurd and that my stepdad couldn't retroactively charge me for hospitality he'd offered freely. But it added 2 more hours of billable work to my case and I'm already $3,800 deep in legal fees trying to recover money that should have just been returned when I asked for it. The real problem started on January 8 when my stepdad's lawyer requested a continuance. Said his client needed more time to gather financial documentation. My lawyer objected but the judge granted a 2-week extension anyway. Our court date got pushed from January 12 to January 26. I lost it when my lawyer called to tell me. I'd been holding everything together for 2 months and that extra 2 weeks felt like it broke something in me. I yelled at her that this was exactly what he wanted, to drag this out until I couldn't afford to keep fighting. She got very quiet and professional and said she understood my frustration but the judge's decision was final. I apologized an hour later via email. She said she got it and that financial abuse cases were always emotionally exhausting for her clients. My mom's divorce proceedings hit a snag around the same time. My stepdad claimed in his filings that my mom had financially contributed to his gambling problem by enabling his access to joint accounts. His lawyer argued she should have noticed the warning signs earlier and that her financial negligence made her partially responsible for the money he lost. They're trying to use it to argue for a more favorable asset split. My mom's lawyer said it was a bullshit argument that wouldn't hold up but it meant more depositions, more paperwork, more delays. My mom came home from meeting with her lawyer on January 9 and she looked 10 years older than she had that morning. Work has been hell. My coworker asked me last week why I seemed so stressed and I made the mistake of giving her a brief overview of what was happening. She told 2 other people. Now half the office knows my stepdad stole my inheritance and I can feel people watching me differently. Like I'm fragile or dramatic or both. My boss called me into her office yesterday and said she'd heard I was dealing with some family legal issues. She was nice about it, but she asked point blank if it was going to affect my work or cause any more incidents at the office. I promised her it wouldn't. I didn't tell her about the counterclaim or the continuance or the fact that I'm barely sleeping anymore. My stepdad's mother showed up at my mom's work on January 10th. Just walked into the insurance office where my mom works and asked to speak to her. My mom's supervisor came and got her from her cubicle. His mother was standing in the waiting area crying, asking my mom to please stop the divorce because her son was falling apart. My mom told her that her son stole from her daughter and lied to her face for 2 months. His mother said he made a mistake and that destroying his whole life over one mistake wasn't fair. My mom asked her to leave. She wouldn't. Security had to escort her out. My mom quit her job the next day. Put in her 2 weeks' notice and started applying to offices in the next county over. She said she couldn't work somewhere his family knew how to find her. She's been at that job for 6 years. I told her she didn't have to do that because of me. She said it wasn't because of me, it was because she was done having her life picked apart by people who thought she should just forgive and forget. The worst part happened 3 days ago. I got a Facebook message from someone I didn't know. A woman, around my age based on her profile picture. The message said your stepdad helped my family when my dad died and we couldn't afford the funeral. He gave us $3,000 and never asked for it back. Maybe think about that before you destroy him. I looked at her profile. She lived 2 towns over. Her dad had died in 2019. I have no idea if the story is true or if my stepdad put her up to messaging me or if she's just someone who saw his vague Facebook posts from December and decided to white knight for him. I blocked her without responding, but the message has been eating at me for days. Because what if it's true? What if he did help her family and I just never knew about it? Does that change anything? Does one good deed cancel out stealing $27,500 from your stepdaughter and lying about it? My mom says it doesn't matter, that even if he helped 100 families it doesn't give him the right to steal from me. But I keep thinking about that message. About his mother crying in my mom's office. About his brother saying their family is falling apart. My lawyer called this morning to tell me she'd received another settlement offer. $15,000 over 2 years, with the first payment due within 30 days of signing the agreement. Still only about half of what he owes. I asked what happens if he misses a payment after we settle. She said we'd have to take him back to court to enforce it. I told her I wanted to think about it. She said that was fine but reminded me that if we go to trial there's no guarantee we'll be able to collect even if we win. That wage garnishment only works if he stays employed and a lien on his truck only matters if the truck is worth more than he owes on it. I have until January 20th to decide whether to accept the settlement or go to trial. That's 6 days from now. My mom told me last night she'll support whatever I decide but that she's worried about me. Said I haven't seemed like myself in weeks and she's scared this whole thing is breaking me down. I told her I was fine. She didn't believe me. I'm not fine. I'm exhausted and angry and I don't know if pushing forward is going to get me anything except more legal bills and more messages from strangers telling me I'm a terrible person. But I also can't stop thinking about Thanksgiving. About him laughing. About the secret account with $27,500 in it that he spent in 6 weeks on chrome wheels and casino chips while lying to my face. Trial is in 12 days if I don't take the settlement. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I rejected the settlement on January 19th and we went to trial on January 26th. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. My stepdad sat at the defendant's table in a wrinkled button-down shirt looking like he hadn't slept in days. His lawyer kept whispering to him and he kept shaking his head. My mom sat in the gallery behind me. She'd taken the morning off from her new job to be there. My lawyer presented everything methodically. The Venmo transfer with loan in the description. The text messages where he'd acknowledged the repayment plan before he got the money. Bank statements showing the $27,500 deposited into his secret account on October 18th. The casino transactions, the auto shop charges, the sports betting sites. She walked the judge through every dollar he'd spent in those 6 weeks. His lawyer argued that the Venmo note was added after the fact, that I'd agreed it was a gift verbally and then changed my mind when he couldn't pay me back immediately. He claimed the text messages were taken out of context. The judge asked him to clarify what context would make "I'll start paying you back $1,000 a month in January" sound like anything other than a loan agreement. His lawyer didn't have a good answer. The counterclaim about room and board got dismissed in under 3 minutes. The judge said you can't retroactively charge someone for hospitality you offered freely and that the claim was frivolous. My stepdad's face went red when she said that. The whole trial took 2 hours. The judge ruled in my favor and ordered him to repay the full $27,500 plus $4,200 in legal fees and court costs. She set up a wage garnishment at 25% of his income until the debt was paid in full and put a lien on his truck as additional security. My stepdad stood up and said, "I don't have that kind of money. This is going to destroy me." The judge said, "You had that money on October 18th. What you chose to do with it is not this court's concern." Judgment is entered for the plaintiff. We walked out of the courthouse and my mom hugged me in the parking lot. I didn't feel victorious. I felt exhausted and hollow and like I'd just won something that cost more than it was worth. The wage garnishment started February 1st. My lawyer sends me updates when payments come through. He's paying $380 every 2 weeks. At that rate it'll take him 4 years to pay me back completely. 4 years of having a quarter of his paycheck taken before he even sees it. His mother called my mom in early February begging her to stop the garnishment because he couldn't afford his rent anymore. My mom told her he should have thought about that before spending $27,500 in 6 weeks. She hasn't called back. My mom's divorce was finalized on February 14th. Valentine's Day. She got the house and her car and half the savings that he hadn't already gambled away. He got his truck with the lien on it and whatever was left in his checking account after legal fees. The judge cited his financial dishonesty and the secret account as justification for the uneven split. My mom signed the papers in her lawyer's office and then came home and opened a bottle of wine. We sat on my couch and she said I wasted 3 years on someone who stole from my daughter. I told her she didn't waste anything, she just learned who he really was. She didn't look convinced. I got a LinkedIn message last week from my stepdad's brother. He said his brother had moved into a studio apartment in the bad part of town and was barely scraping by. That the family intervention they tried to do about his gambling had gone nowhere because he still insists he didn't have a problem, everyone else was just overreacting. His brother asked if I felt like I'd gotten justice. I didn't respond because the honest answer is I don't know. I got a judgment. I'm getting my money back in installments that'll stretch until 2029. My stepdad's life is harder now and maybe that's justice or maybe it's just sad. My mom started dating someone new last month. A guy she met at her new job who doesn't gamble and doesn't have a truck with custom wheels. She seems lighter around him. She laughs more. I'm happy for her but it's weird watching her move on when I'm still getting bi-weekly updates about garnished wages from the man she was married to 6 months ago. I calculated it last night while I couldn't sleep. Between legal fees and the time I've spent dealing with all of this, I've lost more than just money. I've lost relationships with his side of the family who think I'm cruel. I've lost the version of my mom who used to seem happier. I've lost hours of sleep and peace of mind and the ability to trust people when they say they need help. The $380 payments come like clockwork every other Friday. I put them in a separate savings account. I don't touch them. Sometimes I think about what my dad would say about all this. He left me that money to help build a life, not to spend 3 years clawing it back through court orders and wage garnishments. My stepdad sent one email through his lawyer in March asking if I'd consider stopping the garnishment if he agreed to a payment plan he could actually afford. My lawyer said it was up to me. I said no. The judgment stands. I don't feel good about that. But I don't feel bad enough to change my mind either. Last week I saw his truck in a grocery store parking lot. Same ridiculous chrome wheels, same LED light bars. He was loading bags into the bed. He looked older. Thinner. He didn't see me. I sat in my car and watched him drive away with the lien paperwork sitting in my glove box like a weight I can't put down. People ask me sometimes if it was worth it. Taking him to court, pushing for the garnishment, refusing to settle. I tell them I got my money back and that's what matters. They usually nod like that's a satisfying answer. But the real answer is I don't know if it was worth it. I know he stole from me. I know he lied. I know he deserved consequences. And I know that 4 years from now when the last payment clears I'll have my $27,500 back and he'll still be the person who spent my dead father's money on roulette tables and truck accessories. Sometimes I wonder if I should have just let it go. Taken the loss and moved on with my life instead of spending months in legal battles and watching my mom's marriage dissolve and getting messages from strangers about what a terrible person I am. Then I remember Thanksgiving. Him laughing in my face. Family doesn't keep score. I'm getting every dollar back. It's going to take until 2029. And I still don't know if winning feels anything like I thought it would.